Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic, and we're back with another awesome Mattel Jurassic toy review. I'm actually super excited about this one because I've been looking forward to this wave for a while. These are the Fierce Force, the last Fierce Force wave of 2021, basically, for Mattel's Dino Escape line. We have some awesome species here. We, of course, have Styracosaurus, Myazakosaurus, Monolophosaurus, and this awesome one, all brand new, Tanystropheus. Super excited about this one. Totally, nostalgia vibes for that, since Kenner, who did the original Jurassic Park toy line, did a couple Tanystrophiuses. So I'm really excited to kind of open that one up and, of course, give you guys a close-up look of it while we unbox and review all these figures in front of us. So like I said, very, very exciting. I mean, these guys look great already. They have such wild colors. I definitely am going to miss the whole Dino Escape aesthetic. Their coloration is, they did a really cool job with the natural tones this year with all these toys. But yeah, I mean, it's coming to a close. It'll be 2022 soon, and we'll be looking at the next round of dinosaurs, which probably is going to have something to do with the movie coming out, Dominion. But let's enjoy what's in front of us today, which, of course, again, are these Fierce Force figures. We're going to go ahead and start off with the one I'm back here with Styracosaurus. We'll go ahead and open this one up first, and of course, we'll do some comparisons as we go. All that good stuff. You can see it here in the open windowed Fierce Force packaging with that cool Isla Nublar background with the broken fences. Love that. And then on the back, we have a render of the toy, of course. What else is available in the wave, and then how the action feature works, which, of course, we will demo once we get this thing out of the box. But let's go ahead and do that and talk about the figure itself. This is a repaint, so it's not the first Styracosaurus we've got on the line, but I think it's going to be my favorite because I really dig these colors. They kind of have almost like a desert vibe to them. So we'll go ahead and put the box to the side here, and there is Styracosaurus. Again, yeah, it's got like a really light coloring to it. Really bright underbelly, that's fun. Obviously the horns are painted, but it has these colors that are bright on the frill too, which are super fun. Makes it feel more natural. The back's just kind of got this one big dark blob on it. And of course, the articulation on this one is great too. The legs rather, move fine, but they also move outward in front, so you can hinge them out, so it can give you a hug. And the back ones are sort of on like a pseudo ball joint that lets them rotate as well. So you can do some really cool running poses with this one. You can do all kinds of stuff, and it balances pretty well too, which is cool. The head is also semi-posable in that you can like rotate it around and stuff, which is pretty fun. Yeah, you can then you can do the action feature too. Let me get this guy standing up again. The action feature is the tail. Causes it to ram its head. Pretty standard for a Ceratopsian toy from Mattel. They pretty much always do that action feature. It's kind of their go-to. So there it is. Styracosaurus. Let's do a comparison to the other Styracosaurus. Like I said, this is not the first one. I believe this is the first one they ever did. And then the second one is actually somewhat close. It's weird. All my Styracosaurus have like really, really loose legs. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, look at this. I just got this guy off the shelf. Haven't touched him in probably a couple of years, and his legs are totally loose. Anyway, we're not going to sit here and talk about why toys break when they sit on the shelf, though. It is frustrating. I haven't really touched that guy. He's completely loose, but you can see all three Styracosaurs have a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, too. I mean, their crests are all three different patterns on the crest. They could have easily repainted those over and over again, but this one kind of has that big like orange stripe in the middle. This one has sort of like big circles, but they're darker on the inside. Then, of course, the new one just has big, bright circles. The backs are also all different, too. There's two kinds of colors on this one's back. There's a big bright mark on the tail of this one. So besides the base plastic being different, the rest of the figure is different too. I'm going to need to do something with this. I need to get like some glue or something, because it literally won't even stand up. His legs won't even hold him. He just falls over because they're that loose. So if anyone has any tips on how to tighten up joints, I'm going to need to do it on this guy and fast, because yeah, he won't stand up anymore at all. It's such a bummer. So that's all 3 Styracosaurus, and then this is the brand new one. I gotta say, I like this new coloration probably the best. All of these Dino Escape figures have such nice natural tones, and this one feels the most like natural to me. And really, the brighter color, you can get more detail on the sculpt. I mean, I've never really been impressed with the face as much as I am looking at it on this version of the figure. So well done with this newest version of Styracosaurus. Very cool. Go ahead and put him to the side. Let's take a look at the Myazakosaurus. So, relatively new figure. We actually just got this figure earlier this year as part of Dino Escape. It was the first wave or second wave. Here's the Myazakosaurus that we got already. I mean, literally, this figure just came out. I love when Mattel comes out with a brand new figure and then instantly repaints it. So we'll do some comparisons with this old one, with this new one. But the new one is super cool with the patterning on it. So let's go ahead and get it out. I mean, here's the box. Again, shows you on back what to do. Nothing too fancy about these boxes, and we're looking at them over and over and over again, right? So go ahead and cut this plastic and free our dino. Oh, he's still got another tie on his leg. There we go. All right, I was gonna say, what's holding him in? Myazakosaurus. There it is. Yeah, this new version is awesome. I love these leopard print stripes on it. That's what it reminds me of, straight up. It's got the leopard print on the legs, down through the most of the tail and the back and up the neck, and then it ends where the head is. And then this figure, like, you know, all these Fierce Force, has those hinged front arms, so you can do different poses with it. It's got the legs that have a little bit of limited mobility, almost like a ball joint, again, is kind of what I call it. So he can do all kinds of cool poses up and down with his legs. And then his neck is all tied to his action feature, which is activated by a button. He does the head bop. Kind of bobs his head to the music. You can open up his jaws, and then he can kind of bite, I guess, with that action too. So, but I've always kind of liked him with his jaws shut. I think he looks cooler. And the Myazakosaurus itself kind of has this like splayed out jaw that makes the teeth stick out in front. So they kind of captured it here. It's kind of hard when you have these big chunky teeth, but I really like the paint of this new one. I think it's an improvement in every way over the old one. And in a way, it kind of complements the old one too. I know they're different colors, but they feel like there might be the same, from the same tribe or something like that. But yeah, I know what you guys all came here for. Love it. Love it. Dance off. Myazakosaurus dance off. Where else can you go for a Myazakosaurus dance off? But yeah, the repaint is definitely an easy favorite over the previous one. They even have totally different patterns. Look at this. This one has a totally different pattern, but I really like the new one. I think those leopard prints made all the difference in sort of adding some realism to this species. And yeah, again, it's funny that Mattel repainted already, so we won't even see this one again, which I'm fine with. I mean, this is a pretty cool paint job, so I'm not going to complain. I thought there was like something shaking around in him, but no. He's solid. He's a solid figure. I like him from this angle too. So we got 2 now already, so they'll probably pump the brakes on Myazakosaurus for a little bit, and we'll have this one to last us for a while. So we'll go ahead and add him back there. And let's talk about Monolophosaurus. I feel like I've unboxed so many Monolophosauruses this year since they were in Camp Cretaceous, which, you know, bears repeating that this box is Camp Cretaceous versus the regular Jurassic World box. You can see this one has Darius, different logo, has Toro versus blue. The background is even different. It's like a different sky too, which is kind of interesting. Just a little differences that show you that this is a Camp Cretaceous figure, because Monolophosaurus was in Camp Cretaceous, which is probably why there is in the back, which is probably why we have so many figures of it this year. I mean, we got this is the 4th figure this year that we got from Monolophosaurus, not counting the Monolophosauruses we already had before Camp Cretaceous even came out. We had a couple figures, so they're really laying the Monolophosaurus on thick. And this one is very basic. I'm not going to mince my words. This is kind of an ugly figure. It doesn't really have that much paint going on. It's literally just this base green coat with a splotch on top and a splotch on the nose. A little bit of a light color underneath, but really not real contrasty. And that's it. That is it. There's literally nothing else going on with this figure. And I think it's super obvious when you have that sort of like really simple light paint. Like it makes the fact that they don't paint the claws really obvious. I mean, this does not, this is like, you know, I'll be, you know, honest. This is like not a $10 toy right now. This thing doesn't feel like a $10 toy, which is too bad because the Monolophosaurus we've gotten in the past using this figure have a lot more, using this mold, I should say, have a lot more going on, which we'll get to those in a second. But articulation wise, just like the Myazakosaurus, he's got the arms in front that can be posed. The legs have limited mobility, and then of course the action feature is the chomping jaws, all tied to his tail. So no neck articulation for him, which is kind of a bummer because again, there's just not a lot going on with this one. So there's let's go ahead and get them all out. We also have these other variations from Camp Cretaceous. This is actually not even really the same figure. Well, it is from the neck down. These ones have different heads though. If you've watched my videos before, I kind of go over how these ones' heads are different than the other Monolophosaurus sculpt head. The crest is different, the teeth are different, but everything from the neck down is literally exactly the same. So they just used the same figure and retooled the head. We're going to open all their mouths so that they all look somewhat the same. And then we have our next Camp Cretaceous Monolophosaurus. This one came out earlier this year. Again, this one is the exact same figure as what we're looking at here new today. Literally, let me get this so he stands. Literally the exact same figure. Just repainted. But I actually kind of like this one's paint. It's cool. It's wild. Next up we have the rare battle damage Monolophosaurus. I like this one because its neck is posable. It just goes up and down. But I like the battle damage versions. All right, so you think we're done with Monolophosaurus? You think that's enough? Well, there's more. We also have the very first, not Monolophosaurus, but the very first mold that did the biting action. This was the first one. His mouth doesn't even close anymore. I love the paint on this one. I always have. It reminds me of a tiger. Way cooler paint than the new figure. I mean, let's compare these 1-to-1. I mean, look at that. That's like, these were made by Mattel, both of them, but this one has a lot more paint on it. A lot cooler paint, in my opinion. This guy is just a total snooze fest. So there you go. Are we done with Monolophosaurus? No, we're not. We have one more. The very first battle damage Monolophosaurus came with the battle damage T-Rex. This guy has had trouble standing since I got him out of the box. They've kind of perfected the articulation and posability since they've made toys. I feel like a lot of the early ones had trouble standing up, and they've kind of fixed it as they've gone along. So this is a lot of Monolophosauruses at this point. There's more than I can fit on my table. Monolophosauruses, Monolophosauri. I don't know how you say it, but let's just say there is a lot. This is the newest one, arguably the most boring one, but man, do we have a lot of these guys now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Monolophosauruses. Hopefully I'm not forgetting one on the shelf behind me. Yeah, that's a lot of the same figure for not being like a raptor or a T-Rex. So again, this is probably one we can cool it on. Monolophosaurus, I don't think we need any more. We have plenty of them at this point, and if they're going to keep looking like that, might as well switch to something different. Because yeah, again, I'm usually have nothing but nice things to say about the figures on the channel, but this one's just really boring and underwhelming. It's not that cool. It wasn't worth coming out, I guess, but it looks nice next to the other ones. But let's all stop for a second and open up this truly all new figure, the Tanystropheus. This one is like when I say all new, I mean it's not a repaint, it's not a retool, it's literally an all new figure. And I think a lot of people have been looking forward to this one because, again, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Kenner did a Tanystropheus way back in the day. It was bendable and it was like one of those posable wire figures, but this one's of course from Mattel, so it's a little more rigid, but it's still pretty cool. And I'm going to go over why I think it's so cool. Once we get it out of the box, you can see it in here. It's got the back that shows you how that neck strike works, and then the other figures in the wave. But let's go ahead and get Tanny out. Let's see if I can do this without scraping the plastic. Really made these ties on here tight. It's a little harder to do. Not too tight though. All right, and then we'll grab the box, put it out of the way. And there is the Tanystropheus. It's really low set to the ground. I've already kind of went and bent the neck to give it some more realism. I was kind of like unimpressed with all the toy photography they did officially. Made it look like this or made it straight up in the air or something. But really, it has really nice articulation, this figure. It's got, obviously the neck is, the base of the neck is tight to the action feature, but it's got 2 more hinges, one midway and one up by the neck that let you do like a nice, soft, gentle curve like it probably would have in nature. Elsewhere, we have 4 legs with articulation on them. Pretty basic back and forth articulation. Oh no, the front have the hinges too. Let me see if I can get it to, yeah. So the front have the hinges too that you can make them stick out like this. I don't know why you would. When it's this low to the ground, it really doesn't need to do anything fancy with its poses. And the back legs just move back and forth. It's got a little tiny tail. Nice little ridges back here. But what really impresses me about this figure, and I hope that the 4K resolution I'm filming in captures it, is the detail on this thing is crazy. I mean, it's seriously crazy. The whole thing. I mean, you can see the neck, all the little dots on the neck going all the way up to the top. It's got these little tiny scales all over it that look awesome and really help drive the realism of the figure. See all the skin folds down here by the tail, kind of like has a bunch of extra skin on the tail. Really nice detailed figure. I love it from the neck down. I'll be honest with you, I do not love the head itself. It's I'm trying to think of like a figure I can compare it to. Sort of like the Dimetrodon. It's kind of got, no, it's not even like the Dimetrodon. It's like a Rhamphorhynchus. Let me see if I can grab one of those off the shelf without disrupting my review too much. Easy. I mean, look at, see how this thing has like these big giant yellow teeth and these, or big giant yellow eyes and big giant white teeth. That's exactly what the Tanystropheus has. It literally has the exact same mouth as the Rhamphorhynchus figure, which I wasn't too impressed with anyway. I think it's the eyes. Something about just those big black irises just isn't, I don't know. It's just not that. Could be cooler, I guess. But you know, the rest of the figure is so detailed that it's definitely kind of at least helping, working against that mouth, which does open, by the way, but I definitely think it looks worse open. It looks like he has like 6 teeth total versus having it closed. It looks a little better. But yeah, his action feature is this strike that he does, which you can you know, then let's open the jaws for the real strike. Pretty cool. So not like the old Kenner one that, you know, had this bendy wire and you can do all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, and I guess with the way that this thing is posed, you can do all kinds of, he can look behind him, which is kind of cool. So nice articulation there. And I love the way they use the plastic and paint on this. It's mostly dark on the bottom, but then it kind of gets this lighter pattern that goes to solid. And then this neck and top of the head are cast in the same color plastic. So it kind of gradiates to like this light colored head, which is fun. I like it. I want them to do another repaint of this. I don't love it, but I like it. But I'd love them to do a repaint and maybe do something a little bit different with the eyes. Maybe give it like slits instead of irises. That could make all the difference to making this one feel a little bit cooler. But overall, I really like it. It's got tons of detail. I love the pose that it's in, sitting low to the ground. Love the colors too. So can't complain too much about Tanystropheus, honestly. It's a fun one. And it kind of rounds out this crew of Fierce Force figures pretty nicely with its color and sort of unique profile. We have Monolophosaurus here, which was definitely the runt of the litter today that we looked at. But altogether, these guys, Myazakosaurus and Styracosaurus, they all look really, really nice. A fantastic Fierce Force wave. And like I said, it's the last Fierce Force wave as we get into 2022. So pretty cool stuff. I'm overall impressed with this wave. I think that's all I got, though. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching. I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic, and I will see you next time.